What? Oh, go.
Oh man, yeah. All right. So Tony was getting ready to say something, but that's okay. We're live now. This is Armchair Update. This is the AFL version. We are going to look at Week 9 and look ahead to Week 10 of the Armchair Football League. Tony, what's shaking?
Some of you may not know because you haven't seen, but my daughter's name is Millie, so I'm drinking a Millie Light. Millie Light for Millie. I think
That's where the name comes from. That's
yeah, that's. I think you had a story you wanted to start off with.
I did. I had an interesting. I'm actually I'll share the screen just so there's no claim of weirdness. So I'm in a. Tony reminded me it's actually mostly referred to as a guillotine league. RT calls it an eliminator league, where the lowest scoring team each week, they are eliminated from contention, and their players are kicked into a fab pool. And then after fab, there's like 2 days of fab in this. There's Wednesday night, Friday night, and then Saturday they become free agents, I think. Or there might not even be. I can't even fucking remember. But it has no base on this, or no effect on the story. In this league, the guy that got eliminated last week had Christian McCaffrey. He had Jamar Chase, and there maybe a couple other usable players, but those were the main two guys. And I had $34 left. I am still alive in this thing. I had $34 left. I put that $34 as my first bid all on McCaffrey. And then on the off chance that I didn't get him, which I was sure that I wouldn't, I went ahead and put the same $34 on Jamar Chase. And I'll be damned if I did not win Jamar Chase for the $34. But I think what the stranger thing is that not only did I win him for 34, which isn't all that crazy because I had more money left than several of the teams still left, but that nobody else even bothered putting a bid in on Jamar Chase. You can see there, I'm the top team on the American Gladiators. I lost Christian McCaffrey by $1, but then I put in $34 on Jamar Chase. This guy went in on McCaffrey. This guy went on Wilson, Hopkins, Kenyon Drake, Hunter Henry, Daniel Jones, Antonio Gibson, Elijah Moore. So this guy put $7 on Elijah Moore. Maybe he really needed him this week. Kareem Hunt, Dawson Knox, DK Metcalf. I thought I had no chance at Metcalf, so I went for Chase. Singletary, Patrick, Gesicki. Nobody even put in a bid on Jamar Chase. I could have bid $1. I spent all my fab on him because I thought I would have to, and I could have got him for $1. So, whoever plays in a league like this is my first one, or plays in a fab league. Is this as weird as I think it is, or is this pretty standard to where nobody would be in on Jamar Chase because he's on a bye this week?
The only thing, and we talked about this backstage, so he knows the counterpoint I'm throwing here is Cincinnati's on a bye this week. That's the only thing. And in these leagues, the little amount that they've existed and the little amount of them I've been in, a lot of these teams play for just next week, and that's it. So they see, well, I don't want to spend money on an asset that's not going to help me even get to next week. That's the only.
That's understandable. Maybe they thought he would slip through Friday's, waivers or whatever, and they could get him cheaper or whatever it is. I blew my wad on him, and now I hope to be a happy Jamar Chase owner. I think I can squeak through on the back of my team this week. It's not super powerful. I'm not in first place or anything, but
you don't have to be.
Weeks and I'm still alive. And I even played Tyrod Taylor last week. So
that's the beauty of the survivor / eliminator. You don't have to be the best.
Right?
You just can't be the worst.
The best.
You could be the middle all year long and still just survive.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be okay. I'll stick Fournette in there if it doesn't end up being a Madison looking week. I don't know, I guess, what's really going on with Dalvin Cook, but
yeah,
there's probably some percentage chance, a non-zero chance that he doesn't play this week with all of this shit going on. And if he doesn't, we've seen what Madison can do. But that's enough about. I think maybe I'll do a half hour or so at some point, like a midway through the year, a little more than midway for my overall football teams. I got some interesting ones, but that's not what this is about. I just thought that was kind of funky in that I was the only guy to bid on, maybe the number one dynasty receiver right now. I know this isn't a dynasty, but still, I mean, the guy's a stud.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to the meat and potatoes. What we all came here for. The AFL. Is this good to start for you?
Yeah, we'll
Jeff
start
and
for you.
Cal?
Yeah.
Jeff looking okay, man. Jeff scoring a lot of points. He's bagging some W's lately. Jeff's coming on strong.
He traded for DK. And who else this week? Who was the? I want to make sure I got it right. I guess we'll see it in the matchup preview.
Yeah, Jeff has done some. Let's see. Yeah, he just got DK Metcalf. He
did he have Saquon?
Saquon, yeah, he traded for Saquon. Yeah. So he's setting himself. I mean, he still looks like he just scored 150 points. He looks fine for this year, and he's trying to set himself up, for a little bit of the future as well. Not so much draft pick wise, but I like both of those moves. And shit, obviously his team looks okay when it puts up 150.
Yeah, and
James Conner, man, Edmonds going down now. I mean, it is, if it hasn't been the James Conner show, which it has been, it definitely is now. 40 points out of him. What a monster. What the hell?
I was going to say, I thought Jeff was further up the points scored.
Well, see, I titled the episode something about being muddy because if you look at the league, man, like every division it's like tight in its own way. Like the one has 3 teams that are 4-5. Like they're all 4-5. Like anything could happen in the next few weeks. Like it's very unclear what the playoff picture is going to look like right now.
Is that something that now we can say an Eastern Division and every Duke league is the target of, it's going to be the easiest of it?
I don't think any of it. I mean, if you look, man, none of these are easy.
No.
I know you're just messing around, but none of them are particularly easy. Even the one that has, the 1-8 team in it or whatever, like Harry just kicked my ass. I'm tied for first in my division, but I lost to the guy that is 1-8, so it's like nobody, Sam just lost to my dad, who is
4-5, I think.
Kind of blowing. I mean, he's 1-2 in a row, but he was blowing up. He just traded Diggs, he's traded Saquon. And then he comes out of nowhere and he beats Sam. Like fantasy football is fickle, anything can happen. Sam does have an incredible team, but if these guys all kind of have an off week, it doesn't even have to be all of them, but no. And then the other team's guys have a pretty good week. You all of a sudden at the end of Sunday night, you're hoping for a miracle on Monday, and then near the end of the game on Monday, you're going, holy shit, I'm gonna lose to the guy that just traded Diggs and Saquon away.
So it looks like, and I haven't looked into this because it's really only started to play out the last few weeks. I want to know what the record is of teams who haven't played 2 quarterbacks. Because that would be, now that we're getting into that, we're having that third quarterback matters for either depth due to injury or bye weeks. Because, you look at this, scroll down to the last position started when you have Kadarius Toney, who gets 1 versus a quarterback who we all agreed looked awful. Big Ben looked absolutely awful, putting up 16.
Well, and we knew Brisket was going to start that game too. So Cal could have started Brisket in that spot, or maybe he just wasn't at a computer, because he has Tua and Brisket. So I have to imagine. I mean, he either really thought Tony was going to go off, or he just wasn't able to make that change. Not that it would have mattered. It would not have been a difference maker for him. It would have, given him more points in the overall and everything, but it wasn't going to win him this matchup. Even if he put Sony there with his 14, it wasn't going to win him the match. He had a bad game from Cooper. Chuba, you probably can't expect a ton when even CMC's back in a limited capacity. Pretty bad game from Derek Carr against the Giants.
Yeah.
Real nice game out of Kittle. He's got to be happy to see him back and healthy. Pretty good game out of Melvin Gordon, 17.5. But a stinker kind of from Devontae. You kind of saw it coming with no A-Rod. So it's kind of an overall down week for Cal and a monster James Conner week because otherwise this team was pretty ordinary for Jeff.
Well, Kamara, gets his 20, which is good. Because, I mean, whoever's playing the quarterback each drive for New Orleans,
Definitely a down game for Sutton. Denver scores 30 points, and Sutton has one catch for 9 yards. So that's a super down game from him. But 11.5 out of Callaway, you're happy with that. 16, you're probably pretty happy with 16 from Waddle. 18 from Renfro, you're happy.
3 from Mo Alley. When
Indy scores 45 points, you're probably hoping that he catches another touchdown, but he can't catch a touchdown every week.
No.
So, but still, outside of James Conner, Jeff's team was pretty much Jeff's team.
Yep.
He just had a guy go out for 5 catches, 3 total touchdowns, just a beast week for Conner. And Cal just wasn't going to overcome that no matter what. Look at the bench, no matter what.
Yeah. But Cal still has, Jeff's on the uptick, stock-wise, you look at that because of the trades he's made. Cal's also, you could say, holding steady because as of today, he's still the 6th seed.
Yes,
he has the highest point total of the non-top 5 playoff teams.
Wow, yes, he does. So good for Cal. So, like I said, he could have played Brisket or whatever instead of Tony, and it helps him in the points. To Cal, that matters. And the teams, around him points-wise, that's could very well end up mattering. So
and I am
those points in.
I am the current 6th seed if you don't go by the points for. So this directly impacts me.
Oh my God.
Yes. So
things are the machinations are taking place now, where every week is getting bigger and bigger for anybody that's even remotely in it. Jeff is a significant chunk of points behind Cal in that same 3-6 record range. But man, it all matters. I mean, really the only one that's probably truly out of it is probably Harry right now at 1-8 and under 1,000 points scored.
And think of the fact the last 3 matchups are all against your division. You can make up ground real fast playing those 3 people.
Oh man, yeah. All right.
Should we go to your dad?
Yeah, I'm seeing the fun of dynasty football. Yeah, let's go. So this matchup does not end up. So some kind of correction happens. I was kind of maybe thinking that it would swing not as much as it did. This was a 0.08 point matchup, but I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know what the correction was, but I think it was that my dad got more points because Sam stayed the same. And I don't know what it would have been for him. Pringle still has a 0. What would it have been?
I'm trying to figure out where you can find – and there's got to be a way in someone –
There's got to be somewhere, to find out what corrections happened.
Yeah.
I mean, because regardless, this was the upset of the week.
Correct.
Even without the correction, it was going to be a super slim victory.
I mean,
for the Garoppolo's.
while we're being honest, the upset of the week was that your dad beat him only by single digits. He should have beat him by double digits.
Well,
We've got to get that in on you, Sam. I mean, we got to get that in on you. No, but I mean, your team, we've always said it that, you play Sam when the Buccaneers have a bye week. DK Metcalf is...
It's the Nelson Aguilar. I mean, it's the big fat zero. If he would have started Lazard, if he there wasn't really another receiver. Gabriel Davis wouldn't have done it for him. But if he would have went with Lazard or
then
I don't know, went with Devontae Freeman instead of Henderson or Montgomery. Things maybe could have went differently. My dad, of course, takes another 0 out of Byron Pringle. This guy's not watching the podcast. He keeps starting Byron Pringle.
How many times do we have to say that? Why do you start Byron?
If Kenny Galladay's coming back and he's been a total bum, you still start Kenny Galladay over Byron Pringle. It's just silly. So he won in spite of himself and in spite of Byron Pringle.
He played 2 tight ends.
Yeah, he did. He did. He wanted the Dan Arnold. I know he was big on Dan Arnold because he was yakking about Dan Arnold this week. So that ended up working out great for him, getting 18 and 16 out of the tight ends. The Tim Patrick that he just traded, 18 and a half, he just received him from me in a trade. Got the 13 from Russell Gage with the no Ridley. Pretty good game out of Devontae Booker. You got to be ecstatic with 15 points out of Devontae Booker.
We can say also that CJ Uzomah may be finally coming back down to earth.
Yeah, kind of like Mo Alley. These tight ends that go off for a few weeks. The only guy that does seem to continue to be doing it is Pat Freiermuth.
Yes,
it's not Kyle Pitts. It's Pat Freiermuth that is the rookie tight end sensation this year. Adrian Peterson does score the touchdown. He scores almost 10 points. Yeah, sell. Get him off of your team for anything. Anybody will give you
any type of value.
If Dwight, is desperate for a running back because there's no Dalvin this week, I'm hoping there's no Dalvin this week. I have Madison in this league too, so I'm really hoping there's no Dalvin this week. And if there's not, maybe Dwight really needs a running back that can maybe score 10 points.
Or maybe Sam wants his 13th running back.
Yeah.
He could have.
Sam loses, down goes Frazier, but
yeah.
I'm not worried if I'm Sam. If I was a fan of Sam's team, I would not be worried. He's outscored the number 2 guy by 160 points. So
he did just. I know he has an embarrassment of riches at the wide receiver position. But in my eyes, he lost easily a top 2 or 3 receiver with DK Metcalf.
DK, yeah.
And DK is now just getting Russell Wilson back.
Well, I'll tell you what, Sam sure as shit wishes he had DK this last week, right? I mean,
Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah, instead of a 0.
That's the difference. Well, DK was on bye, I think. I think Seattle was on bye.
Yeah, he was. So, yeah, it wouldn't have mattered.
But either way,
it sucks to take a 0, and no matter what. I mean, you don't expect Nelson to take a 0. But
you can say better days ahead for here's Sleeper again. But I'll tell you that after this. Better days ahead for Sam. And your dad's stockpiling some youth. They said Clyde Edwards-Helaire looked great on Wednesday.
Ooh, that's good for us in the dynasty.
And who's that? It's Darrell.
Darrell Williams.
Yes. So his fantasy relevance maybe.
He hadn't been very good anyway. He had been getting some catches, but he's not a very good runner as a running back. But yeah, he's been useful. I guess
So, I
I'd
mean,
probably rather
not
have
much else to
DH.
say here. Or...
No, disappointment for Sam. I mean, he knows it. Everybody knows it. This is a game he should have and could have easily won. So it was just an off week. It's an off week. 8.8 out of Henderson. Yeah, it's pretty disappointing. 3 catches for only 3 yards, 55 yards on the ground. He's been scoring a lot. He's been scoring a lot of points. That's probably that's his lowest game of the year, and only his second game under double digits, under 15 actually. So some disappointment on Sam's end. Pretty down game from Debo, compared to the rest of the season. But some of these guys were due for a little regression. They can't all score 30 every week.
Correct.
He's saving that for the playoffs, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we got? Let's go
Down
Game
one.
of Jones and Harry. Nobody predicted Harry to beat these guys, and he didn't. Not, maybe they lose Damian Harris, who they played in the super flex. This is another team that did not have a quarterback to play in the super flex this week, but won anyway. Sat 20 points on the bench with Mooney. But unlike me, going in thinking they were going to beat Harry and then losing to Harry, these guys beat Harry despite only getting 6 points out of the QB spot. Man, Harry could have won this game. Bad week from Jamar Chase. Bad week from Josh Allen. Maybe Harry could have won 2 games. No, bad week out of Trevor Lawrence. Only 5 points.
He got Trevor Lawrence. That was an in and out. He didn't play the whole game.
Yeah.
He was injured.
Yeah, injury, bad week, whatever you want to call it. 5 points. Harry could have won this game if things went right for him. Just really if his 2 QBs. That's probably Allen's worst game of the season, right? That's by far his first single-digit game. He's a 20-plus point average. So if he's even at 20 points, at 11 there, and if Lawrence is at his average, which is, I don't know, what is he, 15, 16, give or take average, still add another 10, you had 21 points. He's a lot closer. And then if you give Jamar Chase like 2 more touchdowns, give Gesicki a touchdown, then you can easily see how Harry beats these guys.
Funny thing. I know Mark plays in IDP leagues. I don't know how many other people do, but Josh Allen was the number 2 Josh Allen scorer in that game. There was a defensive back, I think it is, for the Jaguars.
He sacked him and stripped him or something.
Yeah, like he ended up with more fantasy points than Josh Allen, the Bills quarterback.
I play in one IDP league, and I sat the guy on the Browns that ended up scoring their touchdown. Mm-hmm. And in this league, the IDP is so skewed heavily on like anything these guys do. That guy scores 77 points on his own in this weirdo IDP. I won anyway, but I sat a 77-point player on the bench.
That's got to be like yardage based for returns.
It's crazy. It's tackles are worth like it's something crazy. It's like 8 points or something for a solo tackle. It's ridiculous. So then, like interceptions are like 10 points.
Pick six.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but they weighted extremely heavily to these, and you start 3 IDPs. It's not like positionally; it's just 3 defensive players.
Any 3 that you
and want. I have like 5 linebackers because why would you play anybody else but a guy racking up tackles when they're worth that much? Give me the tackle, guys. Anyway,
Game of Jones. I mean, we've talked about this with Sam all year long, and you scroll down their lineup and you see the same thing. When you just get solid double-digit points, pretty much every position, you're going to win most weeks.
Harry had 90 points on his bench. He refuses to start Hollywood Brown, despite him being a very good receiver. He goes off again for 21 points on the bench. That's going to be about his 4th or 5th 19. Oh, there's another one. 19-point matchup or more where he's on the bench for Harry.
I think he's found himself a gem with Peoples-Jones.
Yeah, maybe. But by this time next year, which is what he's playing for, that ain't gonna matter. I
For
mean,
Donovan,
maybe he steps up and
yeah.
becomes,
How old is
you
he?
know,
He's young, isn't he?
W2. He's 22.
Yeah, so I mean, he could be there. He was just waiting in the wind,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, maybe he is. And he's got, Juju and another guy. He looks good for next year, but he could be, well, yeah, if he started Hollywood Brown in the flex instead of two tight ends, he once again went with the two tight end strategy, Gesicki and Hunter Henry. Harry could have at least made this game a lot closer than it was, but really, nobody expected Harry to beat the young
Game.
guns, and he didn't. He only beats me. And
So far.
I tried my hardest to win too. I tried damn hard, and
I
it just
mean,
didn't happen.
he still has 3 games left against those 4 and 5 teams
Oh man,
that are ahead of him in the division. So I mean, this is the tough
I
part.
don't want to.
This is the tough part for Harry, the out of division.
He's 1-8. It's all been tough.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go to.
There, we can do that
Lucas
one.
Mark.
That's fine. Yeah, either way.
Yeah.
That there's not much to say here with the if you want to do mine, but that's fine.
Sure. Yeah, Vince. Oh, Vince. There's a lot of ones and single-digit otherwise scores here. He actually fell a Justin Fields short of having a fully single-digit week, which is hard to do.
Yes.
If you're
not
really
you look
trying,
at he had a lot of underperformers, obviously.
Sure.
What was it? Was it Mike Williams did nothing?
Did nothing. Jacoby Myers did nothing.
Claypool did nothing.
The Dolphins gave Myles Gaskin 20 carries, and Ahmed did absolutely nothing. Darnold's a scrub. He's back to being Sam Darnold. For several weeks now, he's been back to being Sam Darnold. You probably would have beat Vince with one hand tied behind your back here.
Could I have beat him with not with just my wide receivers?
No, but just your wide receivers and Herbert, would have done it. Or just your wide receivers and Elijah Mitchell or Jacobs I mean, this was a very sad week for Vince. Not a ton he could have done differently. Maybe he could have played Devontae Smith instead of. I'd probably play him over Van Jefferson. Chase Claypool has been a bum for most of the season. Compared to what he was supposed to be, he's been kind of a scrub. He's only scored 1 touchdown. He's only went over 100 yards once. He did have 96, but he's been kind of a bum. I know Ben has been a bum too, but Deontay's been okay.
Has
been okay.
Vince gets Wilson back.
Yes, he does.
Russell Wilson.
That's huge. That's a huge upgrade over Sam Darnold. Yeah, so.
But of course, it happens when Fields goes on his bye week, so he doesn't have 2 quarterbacks.
And you're still down Derrick Henry at the end of any week. You're still down Derrick Henry, so that's the crushing blow.
And he's down. Who did he start at tight end? Troutman.
Yeah.
He has Noah Fant. Noah Fant was on COVID, which Noah Fant's a top 12 tight end. So, I mean,
I like to hope that he is, but man, I mean, I guess he's been okay. He's just had some stinkers lately. He had the one big one, the 24, but it's sandwiched between or it's sandwiched on the other side of a 5 and 8.9.
But then he had double digits most of the rest, right?
3 of the 4 rest, 3.5, and then 16, 13, 12.
Tight end is such a wasteland that
I'd call him top 12.
Yeah,
easy, probably pretty easy, and especially just based on potential week to week if he's in there. But Vince got whooped. There was really nobody he was going to beat. He was the lowest score of the week. Anybody would have beat him. Anybody.
Yeah.
So.
Just chalk it up and move. I always call it I don't know how much you played or paid much attention to like basketball or participated in it. We watched tapes of games. We call it the flush it game. You know, you don't even watch the videotape of this game. It's done. It's over with. You know you lost. You'll learn nothing from lamenting it or looking at it. You just flush the tape.
My earliest basketball memories are like as a very young kid looking in the newspaper at like the standings, and for years and years in the 90s, I remember how bad the Clippers were. I mean, they were like single digit wins
Bad
during a full season for the longest time. And, you know, in my very young mind looking at this stuff, I don't understand anything about it, but it always was remarkable to me how bad the Clippers always were year after year after year. They were the laughing stock of the NBA. And then I was, you know, did not give a shit, and I still don't, about the NBA for a while. But I know was there a short time where the Clippers had success fairly recently?
Yeah, not too long, because they had Chris Paul and I don't know who else. They were, and they got in the news. I forgot.
They didn't win a title though, right? The Clippers didn't win a title, or did they?
They were close, or I don't. They were really good. Harry knows because he probably follows basketball. I know he says more than we do. There's something with their owner too. There's something with their owner got in the news. I don't know what exactly it was.
They had the racist owner. Yeah.
Hey, we cover all sports here. We've covered.
They have the racist owner, or as Adam would call him, a white guy.
Yes, a normal. Yeah. He's not going to listen to this, so we can.
And I mean, some of the stuff he did say was pretty, you know. The guy's a fuck. I mean,
we can. We'll move on. Let's move on. We're gonna.
I'm just fucking with Adam. Yeah, I just remember the Clippers always being very bad, and then when I got old enough to pay attention, I really liked the Pacers. I liked Reggie Miller. This is like the Reggie Miller, Rick Smits, Mark Jackson Pacers. I liked the Orlando Magic. I liked the Nick Anderson, Horace Grant, Dennis Scott, Shaq, you know, Penny Hardaway Magic. That was super fun. My cousin was a huge Bulls fan. We're in Illinois. Yeah. And, you know, the Bulls are the Bulls of the 90s. You know, that's fun. The Suns were fun back then. The the Kevin Johnson and
you had Chuck and you had Marley.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Dan Marley. Yeah. I'm having trouble remembering some of these guys. But yeah, so I liked basketball a bit, but not enough to keep my interest going. And then the officials, you know, literally wrote a book about how they rig games and shit like that. And it just, I can't do it. Don't like
Sad
it.
Deal. Well, let's move on to yours.
Yeah.
So we both move on to watch WWE.
No, we're on Don and Mark here. Mark, I don't know how many weeks we can say that Mark's team is underperforming before maybe we just suck it up and admit that that's who these guys are this year. Maybe Zeke is done being an elite running back. I mean, he has 2 games of 25 or more points, but he's also got 11, 12, 5, 6, 18. Yeah, he's good, but you can't expect a James Conner kind of game out of him, a 40-point game, right? Eckler, he's more than an 11-point running back, you know, a week, but man, 11, 9.5, 11, 12, but then 20s and 30s. But again, disappointing now that Mark has him. Disappointing. Tyler Boyd sucks. Brian Edwards, big fat fucking 0.
That's the one I was looking up right now.
Yeah, that just sucks.
What would you think his snap percentage was?
Well, to put up a 0, probably lower than I would have expected it to be. Was it something like, 55% or something?
93%.
That was way off. Samsonite, that was way off. Yes.
Like, holy, how are you on the field as a wide receiver? He's he's the number 2 or 3. He's at least the number 2, you should say, because
Bumped up
90,
some kind of slot, yeah, without Ruggs. So it goes like Waller, Renfro,
him.
Yeah. I don't know who else it would be, and I know it was a kind of a Jacobs game. They didn't score very many points generally, but holy hell, how are you out there for 93% of snaps and you don't even accidentally catch a pass?
Now I got to look at what was
his targets. What were his targets?
I can tell you that just 1 second.
Because he hurt me in a league too. I picked him up in a league where we play like three receivers, 3 flexes, just a bunch of spots, and I needed a guy, and yeah, big fat 0.
4
targets.
Okay.
Yeah,
another one.
That's a true stinker.
Now another one. He's got Tyler Boyd, 79% of snaps and 2 targets.
So Joe Burrow was not very good in that game. Like the Bengals were pretty bad.
For me, I look at the game script. They were down the whole game. They had to throw.
Mixon was good. Mixon was good in that game, actually.
Yeah.
But Burrow was not. Chase wasn't. Higgins was okay. We'll see. I think he scored, 13, 14 points, something like that. But, yeah, pretty disappointing game out of Tyler Boyd. Mark Andrews, man, I don't know. He's usually good for double digits. That's his 3rd game in single digits. He had the 1 game of 42 points. Other than that, he's been 12, 11 to 17, give or take. So 9.5. I mean, that's you can't expect a ton more. Uh-oh.
Oh, we're good. We're good.
Does not like ripping on the Memphis Pharaohs.
No. Yeah.
It's just
yeah. Mahomes.
Because I thought for half a second I heard Blue Jays Mark, but it was actually just an actual baby.
Yes.
Crying.
Yes. What's up with Mahomes? You watch those games.
Man, I don't know. The Chiefs, like none of the Chiefs, except for maybe Tyreek Hill. But you know what about Tyreek Hill? He hasn't had, they're taking away the big plays for one. Like the defenses are. This is not the first time Mahomes has played 2 drop back safeties or anything. It happened last year. I don't know, man. They none of them look completely like themselves. The Chiefs do not look like the Chiefs, the team that a lot of guys were picking to at least go back to the Super Bowl this year, not necessarily win, but go back to the Super Bowl or make a deep playoff run or something. None of these guys look the same. None of them. I don't know what the hell happened.
Could you even make an argument, and you probably don't want to hear this because you're a Chiefs fan, that the Chiefs are the 3rd best team in that division?
Well, we're going to find out this weekend. They play the Raiders on the road, and the Raiders just lost to the Giants, and the Chiefs barely beat the Giants at home.
And didn't the Raiders beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead?
Yeah. I think the last two times Derek Carr played the Chiefs, he had 3 touchdowns in each game. Or maybe that was the last 2 in Arrowhead, or maybe it's the last 2 in Oakland or wherever. But it's like Derek Carr he's pretty good against the Chiefs. And the Chiefs defense is terrible. And yeah, man, they do not look like the same team. None of them do. You can give me all the Patrick Mahomes numbers you want, all the yards, the touchdowns. He does not look like the same Patrick Mahomes. He just doesn't. And Kelsey looks banged up. He looks, I don't know if sluggish is the right word, but like a little slow, just a little. Nobody looks explosive. Like explosive. Yeah, I don't know, man. It looks weird. They look weird. I don't like
it. Another team we're seeing, super flex spot, running back.
Javonte Williams. Yeah. He scored 11 points. I mean, he sat Matt Ryan for 28. Yeah. So he could have really stomped Mark just really into the dust. Of course, Mark making the very, very poor decision. I'm going to call Mark out on this. I didn't know if I was going to bring it up, but What are you doing sitting Teddy Bridgewater or Trevor Siemian and instead playing Patrick Mahomes? Like, what do you – and, of course, the numbers bear it out. Teddy, outscores Mahomes. Trevor Siemian outscores Mahomes. These are the kind of leagues where we separate the good managers from the bad managers.
And here it is, right?
When you leave that many quarterback points on your bench in a super flex league, Mark, I'm sorry. That's just very poor managing. How could you start Mahomes over either of those guys?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Is that close to grounds for dismissal from the league? I mean, it's
almost like he didn't change his lineup. That's almost like what it was. He ignored everything. He didn't change his lineup because you obviously left superior players, multiple, on the bench. Because who was
the other quarterback he started?
As we've all learned, is an absolute scrub. You got 11 points out of Le'Veon Bell on the bench, 27 out of Elijah Moore. That stings. Like that stings.
Who was his first quarterback? Mark.
Matt Stafford. Pretty down game from Matt Stafford. And
what do you think in starting? I mean, even Matt Stafford. Why would you start him over Trevor Siemian and Bridgewater?
You got to realize, man, Trevor Siemian. 16 points. I can't even pretend anymore. It's just so stupid. Like football is so stupid sometimes. And nobody knows that better than Mark this year.
Yes. Fantasy sports for him.
Check this out. You got snap count and shit up. How many snaps did Josh Gordon play? Or percentage or whatever it was.
No problem.
Yeah, another week of 0 fantasy points for Josh Gordon. Another week of the Chiefs bringing this guy in to stand around and do nothing. But if you start Elijah Moore instead of Bryan Edwards,
what's your guess?
I did not watch that Chiefs game, so I really don't know.
29.
35. 29. I was going to say 35. So they bring him in. He's been there for what, 3 or 4 weeks now?
Since week 4. And
there 5
that's
weeks.
9.
He's either learned the playbook or he hasn't. If he's a stud wide receiver, he's learned the plays by now. You're not running anything that complicated.
He's averaging 1 target, or actually under 1 target a game, because he's gotten exactly 1 target every game except his second game, and he only has 1 catch for 11 yards on the whole year.
Well, it's got to be nice to collect whatever the fuck paycheck he's getting.
It's got to be league minimum.
Absolutely nothing. To do absolutely nothing. To get paid to work out and not smoke weed for a little bit, basically. Somebody wants to pay me $100,000 to work out in my garage and stop smoking weed for a little bit. I'm open for business. I don't even need league minimum. I'll take
$100,000.
Substantially less. Yeah, I'll take substantially less. If you guys want to pool together.
For you, it doesn't even have to be the Chiefs, right? It'd be any team.
Oh shit! I'll fly around on a fancy jet and play poker with other rich guys and just hang out and be on Hard Knocks. I'll be that guy on Hard Knocks that maybe you root for, but he gets knocked around because he's not very big and.
So how does Aaron Jones only score 5 with no Rodgers?
The Packers didn't do anything. He had 12 carries for 53 yards. He wasn't involved in the passing game at all. No catches. First game all year with no catches because Jordan Love is a scrub. And that was I'm glad I didn't watch that game because it looked like it was probably really terrible.
It was. I watched it at work. It was not good. Like the little bit I got to watch at work was not good.
But Don comes away with the victory here. He's still tied for first place in our division. And Mark, just continues to disappoint, whether it's in Cleveland or in Memphis. Mark just can't get it together.
Holy cow. So Don's bench outscored. Did you see that?
Yeah, Don's bench put up huge points. His bench outscored his starters. Yeah, he's got Pat Fryermuth on the bench. He had Zacchaeus on the bench. Yeah, a couple of nice Jordan Howard, the big Matt Ryan. Probably Matt Ryan's best game of the year, 28 points. There's a 29, so yeah, tied for his best game of the year.
Eva.
Yeah, good for Don. I mean, I'm glad that he didn't score even more points, but man, he's got maybe the consensus number one anymore running back.
Yeah, Taylor.
In Dynasty, Jonathan Taylor. Jesus Christ, look at that. Every week, it's like 170-something yards and multiple touchdowns for that guy. Cripes. Pretty off games elsewhere, but good enough to win. So good job, Don.
On to you, Mark. With you and
there's nothing,
Dwight.
Nothing left to be said for Mark. I caught Dwight at the perfect time. I put up 113, which I would have. Check it out. I would have beat Sam. Would have beat Sam by 0.05 points. So, would have beat Sam. But I think I caught Dwight at about the best time I could catch him. He did play a tight end in the super flex spot, but Dwight did take 2 big fat zeros at receiver from Darius Slayton, who was alive and active, and then DeAndre Hopkins, who did not play.
Now I've got to ask this because, I'm the commissioner, you're the co-commissioner. Did we change this to a tight end premium league? That we didn't. Did we not know?
Yeah, I don't recall. I could see of the guys on his bench maybe having the most faith, without being able to put a QB there, maybe having the most faith in Tyler Higbee doing something of any of those guys. And he did put up 10 points. Keelan Cole, but I probably wouldn't have played him over Higbee.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a hard because we
there's a lot of guys playing double tight ends this week, especially.
It's meant as nothing
at the right time. I traded for Diggsy. He gave me 14.5. He did end up having a much better game than he was for most of the game. He had like 2 targets and 1 catch for a big chunk of that game. Dak looked awful. Still gave me about 19. CD gave me nothing. TJ Moore, I'm very, very worried about because he was awful. But they did just get Cam. Cam's got to be better than Darnold, right? Anybody right now has got to be better than Darnold.
Yeah. You catch him at the right time because it sounds like Gainwell is pretty much out of the script there in Philly.
Yeah. And Daniel Jones, despite looking good early, he had I feel like he had that touchdown and 110 yards in the first quarter. Yeah, pretty much did nothing the rest of the game.
Did he have
a really nice 19.5 out of Mark Ingram? I'm surprised Mark Ingram was as good as he was. So that was a very nice. No, he didn't. He didn't score 19.5. He scored 11. I was going to say, I didn't feel like he scored that many fucking points. What fucking fan tracks, man? Why?
Oh,
he did not score 19.5 points. That's ridiculous. Every week, it's one of my teams too. That's so stupid. Did Cordell Patterson score that many points? Yeah, he did.
Fantrax has you on a stalker alert, and they see all the stuff you post on social media and the stuff you.
And there's no way he's projected for 19.5 next week. There's no way. So where does that number come from? Where do they pull that out of?
Let me see. We have the same scoring in Sleeper. So let me just see what Sleeper has it as.
Is that affecting my total? Is that my real total?
So let's see. You're talking about who were you talking about again? Sorry, Ingram.
Mark Ingram. Yeah. They gave him 8 more points than he had.
11.4 is Diane.
I'm so mad. I gotta pee again. You keep talking.
Okay. Well, he's kind of got up what he has. The things I was going to go over was I think the DeAndre Hopkins news was late news, obviously. Slayton with a 0. Thielen with that game. Oh, my God. The Vikings scored a bunch of points. Thielen gets single-digit points. I was going over, his three wide receivers. The late news about DeAndre Hopkins. Darius Slayton getting nothing. And Adam Thielen. The Vikings put up over 30, right? Or close to it. And he gets 8 points.
got my headphones and I can't hear, so I walked in on my
Oh.
wife in the bathroom. I didn't know she was in there. Walked right in on her. Boom.
No. Yeah. I don't know what the hell's going on with that Mark Ingram thing. I don't.
It's every week. It's like I think last week it was one of my running backs too. But yeah, I got the shitty Tyrod game. I probably would have been better off starting Dak up there and putting some other. I mean, I could have put Manny Sanders or somebody like that in there. Didn't have a whole lot of better options, but yeah, Tyrod did not. You know, if I traded the first rounder for Diggs, which I don't fucking think he was worth, and I traded the second rounder for Tyrod did not return value for me on that second round pick, and that's probably the only week I'm going to play him.
Yeah, because I mean, you still have Aaron, Rodgers.
I have Heineke, I have Rodgers, I just got Cam.
It was just
if
wasn't their bye week, right? Heineke.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're past his bye week.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dallas has had their
easy start rest of season over Tyrod.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, he didn't. I mean, yeah, I won. He didn't. His 5 points or whatever did not cost me the game, thankfully. But I think I'd rather have my second round pick than Tyrod at this point. Maybe I can parlay him to something. See if he goes off.
See him staring me at the face. I really thought I was going to win that Cordell Patterson trade. I really thought he was going to turn into a pumpkin. I really did. I'm going to be honest. I was like, oh, perfect. Like this guy who's 30, who's been like a special teamer for life, has like 3 career games. No, dude's going to have his career year.
Yeah, he is.
And
he's just going to keep going.
And eligible at both running back and wide receiver.
It's helped me tremendously.
Yes.
Without that trade, I would be looking a lot worse than 6-3.
And I did it to get
having him in the RB spot has been like saved my team because look at my other running backs. Latavius Murray, bum. James Robinson has been great, but just got hurt. I got a good week or 2 out of Madison, but that's it. Josh Kelly, Juszczyk, Royce Freeman, Malcolm Brown. These guys are scrubs. Well, and I had Ronald Jones. I put a lot in the Ronald Jones basket. He's a bum. It's really helped me a lot.
And also your Tyson Williams trade.
Yeah, that killed me. I mean, that was very bad for me. Yeah.
So, not much else to say, I think, here, other than we can.
No, I caught Dwight at the right time. He's Dwight's struggling. He's I think sitting in second place technically in his division, but his team has been floundering recently.
Yes.
He's one of the 4 and 5 teams in the East. He's second in points in that division. But if he keeps going at the rate he's going, and my dad keeps inexplicably scoring, more than he is projected for, he could easily surpass Dwight.
And Vince keeps getting injuries.
Yeah. I mean,
Did we want to hammer through these real quick? The other one, the preview, I think we could do that real quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's look at so Dwight this week. We'll stick with Dwight. Dwight this week is getting the Jones boys, the young guns, who are projected right now to win. They probably have set their lineup. Well, maybe they have. Damian Harris is still in there, but
they have.
I think they would know better than us if he's like.
They have Kyler Murray in.
They have Kyler and Damian Harris both in.
Yeah. So they switched the flex to the super flex or the super flex to flex. Yeah. So their lineup's set.
There's a set. Dwight's is probably set because Higbee's on the bench, and he's got actually Hawkinson in the super flex. Dwight does not have that. Maybe Dwight needs a quarterback. Maybe Dwight needs a little Tyrod Taylor in his life. Come and see me, Dwight. He's probably not watching this, but come and see me.
He might need 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, geez, he needs at least 1. Dwight, buddy, yeah. But still, it should be. I mean, it projects to be a pretty close game, but I think in reality, I think the young guns should have this pretty well in hand. I am hoping Dalvin Cook is not playing this weekend. I hope. I haven't seen anything to suggest that he's not, except for, all of the bullshit. I haven't seen anything say that he's not going to play this weekend. But, man, even if he does, motherfucker's got to have a lot on his mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh, yeah.
I'm not projecting 20 points for Dalvin Cook this weekend like Fantrax is. But maybe that's why I don't work in the industry where Tommy Hansen is still in the fucking draft pool and he's been dead for 6 years. So,
well, hell, I couldn't even believe that Adrian Peterson was in our draft pool. When your dad drafted, like what? How is this guy in the pool to be draft? I mean, but I'm the dummy there. Look, Adrian Peterson scores.
Not only is he in the pool, he just scored 10 points. So
so
it's difficult for me to reconcile that they project Kyler for only 21, but DeAndre Hopkins for about 18. Seems like Kyler would probably go off for more than 21 if Hopkins is going to score 18 by himself.
That seems really low for Darren Waller.
Yeah, 15. About 15.
And I think that game should be a shootout, you think. But I guess I'm thinking of
Waller has not been.
What did he do against Kansas City last time?
Probably what you paid for Waller to be. He had 26.5 first game of the year, and he really has not been anything special since then.
Is this what did he have first game against Kansas City?
Oh, against Kansas. I don't know what he did the last time against the Chiefs.
He didn't even play, it looks like.
No. Yeah.
Huh. Oh, well.
But he hasn't been catching the touchdowns. Yeah, that last week was nice, 7 for 92. I guess that's kind of the upside's higher than that, but you're probably hoping for a touchdown. But that's about his wheelhouse is 15, at least so far this year.
Yeah. I think we can say we'll both predict Game of Jones.
Yeah, I'm predicting those guys to pull it out. We'll go up to the top. Let's go to Sam. Yeah, let's go to Sam.
And the interesting storyline here is you have Sam, who is leading the league in everything, you can say.
Pretty much.
And then you have Fully Chubbed, who has the exact opposite luck of worst record, but his points scored far outperform what his record is.
He's going to get thumped by Sam this week.
Well, he doesn't have a flex around it. He doesn't have.
Check it out. Tracks projecting Geno Smith for 24 points.
What?
What in the fuck are you thinking? Yeah, what? He did just have 23. Okay, he did on October 31st.
When has Geno Smith thrown for over 209 yards? The answer is never this year. They haven't projected for 300 and what does that say? 300 and no, in the projections you can see it.
373.8.
And his highest this year is 209. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, he'll throw
He's going to go off for 373 against the defense that just held Patrick Mahomes to 10 fantasy points.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
According to Tracks, Geno Smith is 2.5 times the quarterback that Patrick Mahomes is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we both agree Patrick Mahomes should be benched in a super flex league. So
yeah, we know. I mean, Mark, please.
I just hope that Cal gets Brisket in for tonight.
Yeah, well, he's got nobody in the super flex now. Is Brisket definitely starting tonight?
Yes. I believe so.
Sidebar. All right.
Okay.
I am going to change it up right now. I would like the sweat for tonight, and I think it's I'm going Ravens with my one remaining survivor pick in the big in that big survivor.
Is it because and I'm going to verify this, is it because Brisket's starting?
It's not so much because, but that was the scale tipper. If it was Tua,
well, hold on, he is questionable, but To me, questionable for a Thursday night game is more towards doubtful, because if you think he's questionable, why play him on a short week? Just rest him up and get that extra.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I see that Tua is starting, that'll make me rush and change it back. But just knowing that they're like that on the fence about it means Tua's not 100% healthy. Tony just disappeared. So, yeah, I'm going with the Ravens. Big survivor. Tony, what the hell just happened?
That was me.
There you go.
That was totally me. Hold on.
I covered for you. I totally covered for you.
So what happened was I have too many tabs open, and I was trying to search for Tua Tagovailoa.
I saw you were looking for something, and then you just disappeared. I was like, "There's no way that could have been on purpose." But
yeah, this is my this is my first day using the internet and going for multiple tabs. So
that would be my dad. Like, my dad does not open multiple. Like, I had to teach him how to open multiple tabs so that he didn't have to go to Internet Explorer again. You know, like it. But now he knows how, so we're good.
Oh, so we're good there.
Sam's gonna crush Cal. You know, I hate to be that succinct about it, but he's probably gonna whoop him. Now, we said Sam was gonna crush my dad, and he didn't. So, but Geno Smith ain't scoring 25 in the Superflex, and if you get Brisket in there, he's probably not putting up 25 either. If he does, that means I lost my survivor tonight. So, Brisket suck, Tua suck. Cal, maybe not suck, but Chubb's in the COVID. Like, all of the Browns running backs have COVID.
Now here's something with that, because I've read up on that. Chubb is vaccinated, number one. Okay. Number two, he's already had one negative test. He only needs to get one more, and he's clear to play.
That's
so
fair.
Chubb is, and he got told he was positive on Monday.
Yeah.
So it was early in the week. And since he's vaccinated and he's already gotten one negative test, he's not that far away from playing.
Nice.
But still,
10.5 or so for Kittle. You know, I mean, Cal's going to probably make some lineup moves and stuff that's going to make this look like more of a game.
It's not going to make up the 60 points.
I think Sam's probably got him. I do. Getting Renfro for Sam is pretty big. Hunter Renfro's a PPR monster.
He's
got about a 12, 13 point floor.
With no Ruggs, and
with no Ruggs.
Hunter Renfro being the placeholder till Odell Beckham Jr. comes in and takes over the number. Who knows?
Projecting 24 out of Tyreek Hill. That's a monster projection. So they expect Mahomes and Tyreek to light up the Raiders this weekend.
But yeah, not
only
much else
14
to say.
out of Mike Evans, but no, not a ton to say. I think Sam's got it. Let's go.
Let's go to Vince.
Don.
Oh, yeah, Don and
Vince. Yeah. Vince still has Darnold in there. Of course, that's not going to continue. He's got Godwin in his super flex. He's going to get Russ back. And they do have Jordan Love projected for 17, but Rodgers has said this week that there's a very small chance that he does not play.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot else Vince can do in that super flex that makes it look a lot better. Maybe Devontae Smith.
He's going to play. You would guess he plays Fant. Granted, they say that only gains him 1 point.
Yeah, Fant over Troutman, I like. I don't know that I see 13 points out of Chase Claypool. He's only scored over 13 points twice this year, and that was back in the beginning of October.
We mentioned the Darryl, and it's good to see Don put Matt Ryan in there.
Yeah, just had a monster game going up against Dallas. Should be a shootout. Should have to throw a lot. So, yeah, get him in there. Maybe get Darrell Williams. If CEH is coming back, he's probably going to get Williams out of the flex spot.
Who's he got?
He's got options. He's got McKissick. He's got Javonte.
Jordan Howard, too.
Yeah, he's got some fine options. Yeah, I think I probably like Don in this matchup. His running backs are pretty unstoppable. Even when one has a good game, the other one makes up for it by like absolutely going off. The receivers are solid if unspectacular. And
And
uh,
he could do the 2 tight end thing with Dallas Goedert and Pat Fryermuth.
he could if you wanted to. Freiermuth has been dynamite, like especially
Yeah.
lately. I mean, let's look at his production: 21, 14, 12, and then a couple stinkers. But excuse me,
The current
11.
trend is upward.
Yeah, he's looking real nice. What the hell?
I think
Yeah,
we'll
I
just
think I
say,
like Don.
yeah, Vince is just, this is a bad time of year, bad year. Lose Derrick Henry, lose
Yeah,
Russell
to lose
Wilson.
Henry, that's very bad. That really opened up the gap between those first few weeks where Vince was dominating and looking like a really studly team, and he's kind of gone. I mean, he does get DeAndre Swift back from the bye,
Yeah.
but it's starting to show that his receivers are Van Jefferson, Jacoby Myers, and a vastly underperforming Mike Williams.
Yes.
Yeah, starting to show through a
Late.
little bit, and yeah, I don't know if he's
Because
got
he
the
had,
horses to.
I mean, he put some stock, it looks like, in Devontae Smith, and that hasn't panned out.
Yeah, not yet, at least.
But
That's still a lot of time for that to work out.
the division of dominance. I'm not going to say division of death. We're the division of dominance. With Don being the leader of the division of dominance. There we go. We just
There's 2
trademarked.
divisions where the top teams are 6-3, or one division where the 2 top teams are 6-3. There's one where they're 7-2. Sam could easily be 8-1.
Yeah.
And yeah, I still think that's the tough division. It's got the highest scoring team in it.
It does.
It's also got the second highest scoring team by 7 points, but still second highest scoring team. The Central is tough, but the West is tough. The East is wide open.
Yes.
The East is wide open, except for Harry. The East, between 3 of the 4 teams, is wide open.
Let's move.
This could be a huge week if my dad beats me.
Yeah.
And Vince loses. That definitely opens the door for, say, Dwight. If Dwight's able to sneak in there and get a win over the young guns, or they could all, you could easily see them all 3 losing.
Correct.
And going 4-6, and the amount of points they scored this week really coming into play. So it is interesting, regardless of really the win or loss aspect. Who else now?
We can just go down to Mark and I. Then it's the next one down.
Yeah. Now the projections love Mark this week. We have never seen that come to fruition yet, but the projections love him.
I haven't even looked at my lineup for this league, so I'm just gonna.
They got you for $125 right now, but probably you're going to make. You do have Zach Moss out already. That's probably about what you're going to roll with, right?
I might go Julio. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that.
But
not a ton of glaring changes to make. I like, especially if Zach Moss misses the whole game. Singletary looks real good against the Jets.
Yeah. It's tough with me when I've handcuffed those 3 backfields with Vegas, San Fran, and Buffalo.
Yeah.
To not play those 3 in the running back flex. Christian Kirk might go to the bench in favor of Julio if the DeAndre Hopkins, who knows there, but
yeah,
might not. I think Dawson Knox is going to get more than 5.
When he plays, he typically does.
Yeah.
But if we're going to continue the theme with Mark, which there's no reason to think otherwise at this point, he's not going to score 145 points. And A.J. Brown's not going to score 19. Andrews isn't going to score 15. Edwards isn't going to score 11. Mahomes probably won't score 22 and a half, and Eckler probably won't score 23. So I expect the disappointment train to continue chugging for Memphis Mark
I hope.
until he gives us a reason to think otherwise, which he has not yet. And Tony wins.
I hope. That's just my hope.
I don't have a score. I don't have a final score, but something's going to happen to the Pharaohs to where Tony wins.
Yes.
And even if it affects me negatively, which it probably will, that's what's going to happen. How about Jeff and Harry? And, because I know Harry is so busy with work and I know he's probably not watching this, Harry loses to Jeff. I'm hardly even going to break it down. Harry is going to find a way to lose to Jeff, whether it be starting 2 tight ends, whether it be what else he could do. But Harry could easily lose this match to Jeff. I think he will. And that's kind of my sticking it to Harry because he's been so busy lately. And Jeff's been on the uptick.
Yes.
We're still kicking. He's still alive. He's still kicking. He's close to being out of it.
But he made some big trades.
Yeah, but he's made some moves. He's not fully giving up on this year. And if Mark loses and Jeff wins, suddenly, and if the Jones boys lose, they're 7-3. Jeff is 4-6.
Slowly but surely.
Probably still is not, slowly but surely. But I think Jeff's going in the right direction. And Harry, I don't even think he's trying to tank. I mean, tank is a strong word, but the fact that he keeps not starting Hollywood Brown and stuff when he should have been starting him this whole year, I think he never has. Harry finds a way to lose, except when he beats me. So he's not playing me this week. Harry will lose as he usually does, and he'll probably be a monster next year. If I'm being completely honest, Harry probably will be back with an extreme vengeance next year in that division. But he will find a way to lose this week.
Well, I guess the one last one is you and your dad.
Yeah, it's me. Do you think Harry will also lose this week?
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yeah. There's no.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff wins. Yeah.
Yes, Jeff wins.
We'll go to me and my father. Trax is still projecting Rodgers for 0 points, Madison for 3.28. If, obviously for whatever reason Rodgers doesn't play, I'm going to get Heineke in there. If it turns out that Dalvin Cook's going to be fine, I'll get somebody else in there. Probably Mark Ingram, maybe Manny Sanders.
Did someone hack your dad's account? Byron Pringle is not in the starting lineup.
Right? Yeah. So I guess it really matters to him to try to beat me. It matters enough to get Byron Pringle the fuck out of there, like he should have been doing the last 3 or 4 weeks. But now that he's playing me, now it matters enough to him to start the better players. Yeah, he's got AP in there. I would not expect another 10-point game out of AP, but crazier things have happened. I like myself, honestly. Yes. The projections like me. I like myself. And this is the projections without any points for my QB1. Yeah. 15 out of CD might be optimistic, but it should be a shootout against Atlanta, but it should have been a shootout against Denver. And they put up 16 points, and most of those in a pretty crappy fourth quarter. Yes. But I like myself over him, but I liked Sam over him last week. So I don't want to get too cocky, but I'm hoping to be 7-3 at the end of this week.
I think odds are very high that will happen.
I hope so. I hope so. But man, I'm worried to go Steelers in the Survivor. The gut feels funny. Maybe Khalif Raymond fucking has a blow up week or something. He catches a big long touchdown or something. I could see weird.
Is part of it just
happening,
because you see how things sometimes even out. And yes. I'm not one to do this, and I've said this in the Discord multiple times. I don't think the Bears lost because of the referees. They lost because they lost. Is this something where in the back of your mind you think maybe people think the Steelers should – you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and just I look at my team. I think the DJ Moore projection is too high. He's not scoring 17. I think the Kyle Pitts projection might be high. He might not score 17. The Diggs projection of almost 20 seems too high. So I've got a lot of guys. Cordell Patterson at 20. I mean, that seems
Yeah.
high. You know, that I'd be thrilled with 20. A lot of these projections seem high for me. So,
But there are some of them for your dad that even though they're low, I think they're high for being low.
maybe. Yeah, I could see losing. I could see losing.
Yeah.
It's definitely not out of the question. This is
You
maybe a
should
60-40 match instead of a 80-20 like I want it to be.
I tell your dad owing you pizza. You should make him watch this. And
Yeah, you know what the thing is? There's no way I'll ever be able to collect because he'll have to like send me cash or something, and I won't want him to do that. But no PayPal, no Venmo, no nothing electronic for that guy. I can tell you that right now. So unless I have him like call the pizza place and order it for me, which might even still be a lot because you have to put the area code into the phone and stuff.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That might be asking a bit much.
Yeah.
I'll just be happy with the W and leave it at that.
Well, I've got nothing else to say, really.
Yeah, I don't either. This was a pretty long one. I have to pee super bad, so.
Okay. Yeah, and my wife just got home for her lunch break, so yeah.
Yeah, so we'll call it good, and thanks for watching. Thanks, Tony, for taking the time. We'll be back for the next one, and maybe the picture clears up a little bit. We can look forward to the fantasy playoffs. Trade deadline's coming up in a lot of leagues. I don't know if it is in ours. I don't think it is.
Ours is just mirroring what baseball does.
Okay, cool.
So it won't be until after the last week of the regular season.
Last week of the regular season. So right on. But yeah, we're marching toward fantasy playoff time. So
yep.
Let's clear that picture up. All right, man. I'll catch you later. Thanks, everybody.